Yeah, we're live.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the final episode of Cross Circle for 2018. Welcome to episode 23. It's been quite a journey getting here, but
Indeed.
joining me, as he has every week except for one, is Mr. Kevin Diaz.
Oh yeah, I forgot I did miss one. But how we doing, guys? What is going on? Last episode of the year. Good vibes, positive vibes. Let's get it going. All the good stuff. We're gonna talk about some games and such. All the good stuff. Christian, how are you, my good sir? How are you, Christian? How are you doing?
I'm good. Since last episode, I'm done with exams, done with college. Still here, leaving tomorrow. But not done with college, just done for the semester.
Gotcha. You're gonna go back home?
Yes, home for the holidays.
Are you in Boston, right? Or am I tripping?
No.
It is Boston?
No, it's not Boston.
It's not Boston. Okay, it's not Boston.
Boston is not the only place in Massachusetts, Kevin.
No, I thought that's where you lived.
I don't live in Boston. But it's been a hell of a year for video games. Personally, I think it's better than last year, and last year was amazing.
100%. 100%. I also agree.
There were a lot of games this year, new and old, fun and broken.
Indeed. Fun and broken, indeed.
Kevin, I know you this year. I actually keep a list every year. I really started keeping up with it this year, but I played and completed 17 games this year. I don't register ones that I just start or get a little ways through.
Right.
Like, I didn't beat Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and that's not on my list of 17 that I beat.
Gotcha. Okay. I see.
But in February, I finished Persona 5, so I add that to the list.
Gotcha.
It's like I keep it up that way.
Gotcha.
So 17 games. I played some old games. I played some new games. So I know you did play not a lot of old games, but you caught up on your backlog a little bit. So
yeah, 100%.
I know you have a few shout-outs you want to give before we hit our top 10s. So what are your shout-outs? You can just run through your shout-outs, and I'll do mine.
Let's just do it, yeah. So the honorable mentions, these were games that some of them either... okay, none of these... I'm looking through this. Okay, none of these came out this year. There's one that is a games as a service game. I just felt like it wasn't, really in my top 10, but it is a game service game, you know what I'm saying? So from the top, Last of Us Remastered, played through that this summer. Enjoyed it, as always. You know what I'm saying? I feel like... And you said you were going to wait until we get closer to Last of Us 2 to replay Last of Us 1.
The day they give us a date, I will boot up a new save file.
Gotcha. Yeah. Because I do also want to play the DLC Left Behind. I still need to do that. I'll probably say that till maybe closer to Last of Us 2. I'll probably do the same thing as you. Maybe wait on that. Let that hang out right there. But another game I played also, Ratchet & Clank. Very good. It was just a super, just like, hey, just play a game. Super fun. Enjoyed it a lot. Loved it. Very, very good stuff. Just fun combat. And was a nice kind of I don't know, tiptoe into modern day Insomniac games, which will obviously pave the way for Spider-Man, which of course is on our top 10 list, I'm assuming. I also played Life is Strange 2, episode 1. That one is obviously one that came out this year, but we only got the first episode, so I didn't feel like it would have a place in top 10. I feel like it probably does have a place in it, but overall, I did enjoy it on the first episode, and I'm looking forward to episode 2. I think in January, it was announced at the Game Awards. I believe it was January is when it's coming out, I believe. Could be wrong, but I believe somewhere in that. Fortnite is my next one. Fortnite, obviously. I feel like, it was building up a lot of momentum in late 2017 when they got dropped. But I feel like 2018 is really where it hit stride and where it hit its kind of peak, I feel. And where it's at right now. Currently, I feel like Fortnite is Fortnite. It's incredible. So Fortnite's on that list as well. And another one here, first time playing this game. And that you very much persisted that I played this game. Very, very much so. You're definitely involved in this. That is Red Dead Redemption 1.
Yeehaw!
I want to put this on the top 10 so bad. But I felt like, we kind of laid down some rules. And because the game wasn't released, this year, obviously, it'd be kind of weird to put it on the top 10 list. So I did not put it on there, but Red Dead Redemption 1 was amazing. I understand the hype after playing that 100%. Loved it. Love every second of it. And a game that I haven't beaten yet, but I am still chugging along with here and there. As you know, when I end my day, I kind of hang out in my bed. I'm saying, play some games, whatever. And it's really the only thing I'm playing on my Vita right now. That is Guacamelee. Shout out, good game, very very good stuff, very fun mechanics. And it's like, it's similar in the vein. I feel it's like Celeste in terms of difficulty, where it's just hard enough where you feel like it's hard, obviously, but you know what you have to do. Like you're aware of how you're going to overcome this struggle that you're at right now. It's just hard right now. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
It's not like it's like a detrimental, like beat you over the head. Like you're never gonna beat it. It's not that. So that's what I appreciate about Guacamelee. Overall, good game. Drinkbox, Amazing Studio, all that good stuff. Next one. I have this one, then one more. I swear to God. Then I'll stop.
Okay.
My next one here is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now, this is my first Smash Bros. I know that's a dicey thing to say here. It's a bit controversial, but it is my first Smash Bros. I've heard you talk about Smash. You love Smash. I know a lot of people love Smash as a whole and everything. And I never like thought it was bad or whatever. Like I used to like play it, at friends' houses and stuff like that. But like I barely even call that playing, because it would be like one match, and I didn't really understand, Smash as a game back then at all. You know what I'm saying? But I played my first game, like my first like legitimate, like, all right, let's play Smash Bros. Right when it first came out, Ultimate, and I fully understand why it's great. I fully understand it. I'm bringing it home to the family, and all my cousins are going to play Smash Bros. On the Switch. Like I cannot wait for that.
That's the best way to play Smash.
I know. I cannot wait to bring the dock to my parents' house Christmas Eve. Get all the cousins around. It's going to be great. So Smash Bros. Deserves a spot. And lastly here, I swear to God, this is my last game. I swear to God, guys, I'm sorry. But Destiny 2. Now, obviously, rough start Destiny 2. But I feel with their Forsaken update, did a lot of great improvements to the game overall, all that good stuff. So I feel like Destiny 2 is at a nice place currently right now. And I feel like, it is worth mentioning that it was a good game. And it's still a good game, to this day. There's obviously some things that you can debate about that. But overall, just it's Destiny's gameplay. You know how it goes. It's great. And those have been.
You don't have to defend that choice to me, because Destiny 2 was in my top 10 last year.
Okay. Oh, last year.
Last year.
This year. Okay.
I did not play Destiny 2 much this year at all, but last year it was in my top 10. I think it was in my top 5 last year, actually.
Yeah.
I put so much time into Destiny 2 and it launched.
I was still putting in hours in Destiny 2 earlier this year, so that's why I felt it was okay. Right, and I didn't put a lot of hours into Forsaken, but it was that 1 week. Remember? I think you remember.
Right,
I was like, I think I'm in Destiny 2 again, but I got sucked out of something else. But it was a good week where I was almost fully on in the Destiny 2 again. But those have been my honorable mentions. What are yours, sir? What were the games that didn't make the top 10 list on your side of things that will get into our top 10?
So I don't have that many shout outs, just because of how I sort of mentioned earlier, the way I played games. A lot of the games I played this year were revisiting things like Arkham Asylum. What else did I do this year? Uncharted 3, stuff like that.
Good game.
So I want to go shout out to a few games that came out this year. Before I do that, I think we should explain what you mentioned. So the rules for our top 10 were they had to release this year. That could include a re-release. So that would include Spyro. That could include one of my mentions I'm going to mention at the beginning of my mentions. Or first time coming to consoles. Something like that.
Gotcha. Okay.
So my first shout out is Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze on the Nintendo Switch. That is the best 2D platformer I've played in my entire life. That game is incredible. Very worth having a Switch for. Always had a soft spot for Donkey Kong games. A lot of fun. But Tropical Freeze, They just have really nice levels, really great structures, natural exploration, really well hidden secrets. Lots of challenge. It's a very hard game. And they reward you for exploring and for trying to go out of your way to do the extra hard stuff, which I really appreciate. And yeah, just design and creativity in that game is on another level. Next up is one of the first games, I think the first game I bought this year, Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Ooh, okay. This is okay. Okay.
I made a pact with myself when I first saw Dragon Ball FighterZ at last E3. I was like, that will be the fighting game that I get good at. I'm not good at that game.
Oh.
It's a lot of fun. It is a whole lot of fun. I can do super basic combos. I think it's a great 3v3 fighter. I love following the fighting game community, and like Evo is something I watch every single year.
Right.
So seeing Dragon Ball FighterZ at Evo this year, shout out to Sonic Fox for his Game Award winning victory over his opponent in Dragon Ball FighterZ. That match was insane.
Also, a fellow half Dominican. I gotta just shout
That's
out
nice.
Shout out.
Yeah, Dragon Ball FighterZ is a great game.
Yeah.
Next up, throwing this on the list because I've only played it probably 3 times this year, but the first night I played it was incredible. It was just a ton of fun with my friends, getting around a TV together, screaming at each other, playing Super Mario Party. Shout out to that one because Mario Party, love those games when they're good. It's good again, and that was a great, just like sit down, Black Friday Eve, bunch of my friends gathering around a TV and playing some good old Mario Party.
Yeah, that was a game that we talked a lot about me almost getting, but never did. Maybe I will in the future, maybe, but we'll see.
If you can pick it up on set, because I mentioned this story before, but I got my friends to pitch in money for it. That's why I got it.
Right, yeah.
So if you can get it on sale, I recommend it. But
okay, perhaps.
I have my next shout out is Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight was on my top 10 for the first probably until around September. Love that game to death. I have yet to finish it. I want to like fully complete the true ending. Hollow Knight is such a good game. I love it so much. Did release last year, came to consoles this year, starting on Switch, came to PS4 very recently.
Right.
I think it's on Xbox. Probably is.
I can check, but I'd have to assume.
Yeah. Hollow Knight, great game. Love the art style. Love the tone. Love the way they just urge you to explore. They give you so many ways to explore in a 2D world. Yeah. It's so good.
And like what I have Hollow Knight on Switch, right? And I was about to leave for vacation. I'm like, yo, I think I got Hollow Knight a few weeks before I left for vacation. And I was like, all right, Christian, Hollow Knight's gonna be my like exclusive plane game for this vacation. Like whenever I'm on the plane, whenever I'm just in an Uber, whenever I can, I'm gonna play Hollow Knight. Just like it looked really cool. You were speaking a lot about it. You've enjoyed it a lot. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna play it straight up, right? But I don't know if it's just that Hollow Knight, like design wise, is just a game that just has like a bit of a learning curve, or it takes a little bit to get like fully hooked and into. I don't know. I just wasn't hooked yet. I wasn't hooked.
Every time I played it in like 3-hour sittings. So like I really like dug into it every time I played it.
Gotcha.
I didn't do it in bursts. Just because I think the way you explore that game, the way you travel through all the different tunnels and everything,
right,
lends itself to committing time to it and being like, okay, today I'm going to get to this next region, explore the entire region, map out where everything is. Then I'm going to close it out. Tomorrow I'm going to go back in and find what I have to find in there. Get the bosses, stuff like that.
Yeah. So I feel like I just need to get more time into that game, and I will try to with Messenger as well. I need to get through on Switch and stuff like that, but it's not the point.
So that was the last one I have listed, but I'm debating between bumping my number 10 because you made me think of something.
Oh, snap. Do we have a live shakeup of your list right now, sir? Do we have a live shake? I mean, if you'd like to have a 10 as your number 10 is up for debate, I will gladly talk you through it, and we will see if we can come to a definitive number 10 for you, sir.
So right now, number 10, because the thing is, I was iffy on having this as number 10. My number 10, I guess we can start, and we'll just bounce back and forth.
Yes, yeah.
My 10, your 10, my 9, your 9.
Yeah.
So currently my number 10 is the Spyro Reignited trilogy. I think those are masterpiece remasters. They're so good.
Yeah.
Amazing translations of the original art and the original vibes of that game. Really redoing everything and making it feel exactly like the original, as far as these environments I'm in, these characters I'm talking to, these enemies, really giving them new life.
Right.
Yesterday I platinumed Spyro 2, Ripto's Rage. I always get that title messed up. Very good game. Love that game. As a kid, my favorite was 3. I haven't played 3 yet. I didn't play 1 a ton. Haven't played 1 yet. But I am considering bumping that so my number 10 can be Fortnite.
Huh. Did not see that coming.
I will say this.
Did not see that coming.
I started playing Fortnite in 2017. I was like ahead of the wave on that one. Like around November of 2017, I started playing Battle Royale.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I played it day one, the day it came out and stuff like that, and like played it like here and there. Didn't get too into it, but I got into it like with my friends and everything. 2018 was like early 2018. You know that like season 3, 4 maybe season 3, 4 something like that. That's when I got heavy into it. So it sounds like that's the same thing with you as well. So yeah,
kind of like I had one friend that I played a little bit with in 2017, and then January 2018. That entire vacation was just Fortnite every night till like 4 a.m. with my friends.
Gotcha.
So I think with the amount of time I put into Fortnite this year,
right,
and I think especially recently how I've been feeling about it, like I haven't played it as much. I think I'm going to keep Fortnite to a shout out like you did.
Yeah.
So yeah, my number 10 is Spyro. Love that game. Love that remaster.
Right.
Excited and hopeful to see that team tackle a Spyro 4.
Do you think now with the trilogy, do you think it's pretty likely that they will continue with like Spyro 4 and do it?
I think Activision, having lost their license to like Tony Hawk and Marvel, they're like, oh, we've been sitting on this for like 20 years and we've only done nothing with it the past 10 years, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, with how well Crash did, what they're doing with Crash Team Racing now, Spyro doing just as well, I feel like they're gonna, it's like just a matter of when they're gonna get into Spyro 4, Crash 4. So, Spyro Ignited is my number 10. What is your number 10, Kevin?
My number 10 is a game that, you know, if you would have asked me like a month ago, I'd be like, there's probably no way this would make my top 10. Like, why? But it is Florence.
Oh, nice.
Florence on iOS. It lives on Android too. It's $1. And it is just an incredible game. Like I first heard about Florence via Kind of Funny. Tim Geddes was talking about it a lot, and he was obsessed with it. Greg was obsessed with it as well. Like they were loving it, and they were saying, "Hey, like it's great. It's 45 minutes long. There's no reason why you shouldn't have time to do this." You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no reason why you shouldn't carve out 45 minutes. If you need to at max an hour, which I don't know how you need an hour to beat that game. It's super short. But, you know, they were like, do it. It's a great story. It's compelling. It's super nice vibe. And, like, just how it's all formed together and what you do in the game. Like, there's just certain... So, I'm going to just give, like, one example of why this made the list, right?
Sure.
And it was... So it's about this relationship, right? And so there's a point in the game where you first meet that person that you begin a relationship with, right? So you have to like puzzle up and match and like solve this puzzle that makes a text block, right? So you like put the pieces together to make a text block, and then it sends through as if you said it, right? So it's like, that's how it is in the beginning. Where it's maybe like 5-10 pieces, something like that, and you put it together. You know, it takes a little bit of time, but you do it, right? And then as it goes on, and as you go on more dates, and as you go on dates, whatever, it gets a lot easier to do those puzzles because it'll be like 3 pieces, and then 2, and then when it's late in the game, it's just 1, You know what I'm saying? And like when you're in an argument, you have to do them faster, and they're like just it's just the way they like replicated a easy or a new conversation or a hard conversation or a fight conversation in terms of like puzzling like that it was just brilliant. I thought it was just I was like, man, like this is super good. Like so that's why I made my top 10. Yeah, it's amazing.
I didn't even know that there was like gameplay mechanics like that in there. I thought it was a lot of just like dialogue decisions, visual novel style. No, that's really cool.
No, yeah,
legit really game design in it.
Like there's even parts where you know, I hate to spoil. It's not really spoiling, whatever. Like, so you have to like make room in your apartment for this new person that's moving in, for example, right? So you're taking back your stuff and you're putting up his stuff, and like you're picking what am I gonna have to sacrifice out of my apartment? It's so good, man. I'm like thinking right now, like dang, like because like you have to you know, just like pick like, okay, do I want to put my, for example, like you know, flower pot in storage, whatever, to make way for his record set, whatever. Like it's just that whole thing that you can easily see how it is in real life is in Florence. It's great. It's great.
Cool.
So
that's cool.
yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, Florence is amazing. That's why it made the top 10. And yeah, great game. What is your number 9, my good sir?
So my number 9 might hurt you a little bit.
Oh no. Oh no.
So I will say I loved this game. I adore the character. I love so much about this game.
Okay.
And I was having a blast playing it. I was like all in on it. I think I'm at like 33 hours right now. And I hit a wall.
I'm just preparing myself, but you may continue.
I hit a wall. I am like 10 levels under where I need to be right now for the next story mission. I'm like, I really just want to see where the story is going because it just got really interesting. I don't want to have to run off and do all these side quests to get strong enough to keep on going. Okay. And that is Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
What? Number 9? Bro!
Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I will say, though, great to have the series back and be this good. I've had so much fun with this game. It's one of my favorite experiences of the year. Cassandra is one of my favorite video game characters ever. I think it's my favorite Assassin's Creed now, 100%, and I do want to finish it. I want to finish this game, and I'm going to finish this game. It's just...
I know it's a lot.
Burnt out.
Yeah, it's
not really feeling doing side quests. And yeah, and the thing is, I enjoy the side quests in that game. I hit a point where I wanted to keep going, and the game wouldn't let me just because I wasn't leveled enough.
Right.
Because the story got super interesting, and I was just like, oh, I just want the next thing, and they're like, no,
yeah,
do this stuff first.
Yeah,
so that kind of like it brought me down a little bit because I was so high in this game, and until that wall showed up, I was it was like in my top 5.
Yeah, because for me, like there were 2 significant walls in that game that I feel there was something to be said. There's something to be said where could this be intentional by Ubisoft to sell booster packs? Perhaps yes. That's certainly what it looks like, right? But that there, at least from my playthrough, there are 2 distinct walls that are like ranking up the levels. Like they like crank up the level that you had to be on versus what you have to be on for like the next level, for like the next like story main mission, right? And you know, as a studio, one could argue that, you know, from a more you know, hopeful perspective, that okay, Ubisoft just wants this like artificial slowdown in your progression of the main story to be able to experience some of the side stuff and do all.
And that's what honestly, that's what I think it is.
Yeah,
because that world is huge, and I feel like I'm closing in on the end of the game, but I still have this entire huge portion of this map that I have not uncovered yet. So they put a lot of work into that, so I can understand being like, hey, there's an entire state over here. Go look at it. But that's just not what I was feeling at that moment, so that's why it's at my number 9.
Yeah, or like
and I'm sure we're going to talk about this again when
because it's definitely on my list. But like the more like pessimist side, like okay, like maybe they added these things to you know, sell those booster packs, which I'm gonna be straight up honest here.
You
I
bought,
did.
right?
Yeah, on the second big wall. So I feel like the first wall for me happened around like level 16 or 17, and then the last big wall was like 35 ish.
That's where I need to be, and I'm not
It
there.
was on like those two where I was at like level 28 doing missions like nothing, and then like the next one was like, oh, be level 35. And I'm
That's
like,
where
what?
I am right now.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, I'm like, yo, what? I'm like, wait a minute, like, yeah, yeah. So there are very distinct walls in the game that like kind of make you level up. So I totally understand why, and like it'd be great if this industry just wasn't full of a lot of games that take a lot of time.
Right, yeah, because again, this was right after the 3 bang stretch of like Spider-Man did a ton of time in Assassin's Creed, finished Red Dead, going back to Assassin's Creed, it's like, oh, I just want to see the end of this narrative.
Like in that block, if you were playing Spider-Man PS4, which you probably could have gone through before AC Odyssey,
and I did,
right? Yeah, I feel like everyone did, right? So Spider-Man, you got Odyssey, and then you had, if you're into it, Black Ops 4, and then you had Red Dead Redemption 2. You know what I'm saying? And Red Dead itself, massive game. So the likeness of the average person having enough time to beat Odyssey, which in itself, long, I imagine, very, very long. I think it took me like 45 hours to beat, I want to say, give or take. It was like 45 hours. But that 45 hours for a regular person that has all these games chugging along, like, it's a lot. So I can understand it. But
so what is your number 9?
My number 9 is Far Cry 5.
Interesting.
Far Cry 5, it was a good game. You know what I'm saying? I enjoyed it for what it was. Great gameplay. And like I feel like Ubisoft definitely has that like great style of game where they give you like a massive open world and then it's just like checkbox. Like if you love doing checkbox stuff and like going and doing not errands, but like just doing this massive list of missions, that's what it's about. Same thing with Odyssey, like obviously Ubisoft as well. Like it's that same type of thing. And it's not that like Far Cry to me like was bad or like there's no reason why it necessarily like for its quality why it's at number 9. It was just a lot of other games were a lot better in terms of like story and everything. Yeah. But not to like Far Cry 5 was just fun. It was a fun game before my God of War. It was fun. Yeah.
Similar to what I just said with Assassins, Far Cry 5 I thought was a fun game to play, but I did get burnt out. We were talking about this before when New Dawn showed up.
Right.
But yeah, I got tired. And I think the major difference was I cared about the characters and world and story in Assassin's Creed so much more than I did in Far Cry, and that's why Far Cry is like a 7 out of 10 for me.
Right.
But yeah, it's a fun game to play.
Yeah. Like I feel like if you
I did play most of it co-op too, so
that is interesting. Yeah, I didn't play co-op at all with it. But like if you just want like a fun game, like it's worth your time. That's what I say for yeah, it's worth your time. You know what I'm saying? Like there's better gameplay to be had this year. There's better story to be had this year. But for what it is, I thought it was acceptable. That was fun. What is your number 9?
Number 8.
Number 8.
My number 8, you mentioned in your shoutouts, and that is Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Hey, there we go.
Smash Bros. Like we were talking about, love this game. So many great moments to have in Smash Bros. Played it with my brother. Played it with some friends online. Online's looking rough.
Really?
I've had, honestly, I feel like it's 50-50 with how it runs. One-on-one matches, I find, usually go without a hitch. 3 still usually have been okay, but if 4 comes into the mix, you have one person with a bad internet connection, it just screws it for everybody.
It kind of ruins it, right? Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
But so for Smash, I just unlocked all the characters yesterday. Been playing classic mode and Smash mode. I haven't touched the adventure mode at all, and having a great time with it. So yeah, Smash Bros is my number 8. Great game, so much content. Yeah, and I'm gonna be playing that game for the next like 6 years.
Do you think this Smash has the potential to be like your favorite Smash of all time? Considering
it is already my favorite Smash
of all time.
Yeah,
bet.
I'm not one of those like
because I know like
crazy melee fans
gets talked about a lot. Yeah, melee gets talked about a lot.
Melee was my first Smash. I really enjoy Melee. It's the game I play when I go to my friends' houses. All my friends got Switches now, so that's probably going to be replaced.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And my favorite was Brawl on the Wii. I loved Brawl.
Interesting.
A lot of people don't like Brawl, but I think Smash, as far as what's in there, is the best of all of them, and it plays very, very well. So
there we go.
That's my number 8.
Deal. My number 8 is a game that I believe got some credit at Game Awards or got nominated at least. I'm pretty sure it won something. I think I'm not sure, but it was Dead Cells. Dead Cells was a little game I was hooked on for about a month, maybe a few weeks. I religiously played that game. Right
after you watch this, go watch Kevin's review of Dead Cells. It's good.
Do that, yeah, please. I like the review a lot. I actually love that review, honestly, like low key thing a lot. But beside the point, great game, and kind of like the main focal point that I'll say for the game right now, like the main focal point that I had for the review was that I hadn't beat Dead Cells, right? And it's not that like Dead Cells is a game that to get the full point of it and to really like have fun with it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to beat it. Right, like there's so much more about the game that is, beating it, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? And that could be looked at as like me, like trying to excuse myself for not beating it. But
there's lots of like hurdles, and when you get over a hurdle, it's like a Dark Souls boss.
Yeah, 100%.
Like it's when you finish an area of Dark Souls and you get that boss, finally get that boss. It's like I feel like good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, like, yeah.
I get what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, it's really by design because, like, it's a what's the term I'm looking for?
Roguelike.
Thank you. Yeah. Roguelike where, you start at the beginning every time you die. You know what I'm saying? And it's just an amazing game. It's fun, fluid. Combat feels great. It's addicting. The soundtrack literally is infused in my soul from now until I die. Like I will forever remember that soundtrack because I played it so much. It was great. So shout out to Dead Cells. Shout out.
Yeah, I tried out Dead Cells a little bit. Historically, not the biggest fan of roguelikes. I didn't think I was gonna like it. I think it plays super well, but just the format isn't my cup of tea.
Right.
But it is a well-made game. Feels good to play.
Yeah. And like I want it on Switch, but I have all my upgrades and stuff already on PS4, so not gonna happen. But like, if I could play it on Switch, it'd be a wrap. But what is your number 7? Almost into the top 5. What do we got here for you?
My number 7, cracking into this niche market right now, is a VR game. Astrobot Rescue Mission.
Oh, a VR game of the year, correct? VR game of the year, I believe.
Yeah, from Game Awards.
Yeah.
I think so. I'm pretty sure it is. Astrobot is freaking phenomenal. That is a very, very good game. I think it is the VR community is very vocal about this, but I think there are already, just from my 2 months having VR, I think there's at least 5-6 killer apps for VR that's like, it is worth owning a system just to play this game for like a handful of them now. Astrobot is probably one of the best. I've played 3 of the 5 worlds because I'm just enjoying this game at a very, it's like comfort food because I love 3D platformers, and just going to this game, sitting down for a night and just going through an entire world is just so nice. There's so much creative uses of being in a VR headset in that game, and I can't say enough good things about it. I think it is genuinely, if this was a Nintendo game, I think it would have blown up way more. I think it is as good as some of the recent Mario games that have been released. I think it is an incredible game, deserves all the praise it's gotten. I cannot wait to see the rest of this game. I haven't even touched like this entire different section that's just challenge modes. So I can't wait to try those out. But Astrobot uses VR to make a game that's really entertaining and really thoughtful. And I just have loved every second of Astrobot. It's so good.
Right.
Astrobot 2, give it to me.
And
I need it.
I don't know if you have any other VR games on your list. So if
I
you
do.
do, that okay, you do. Okay. So is this your favorite VR game of the year, or is that until we have no?
I
Almost
have
not.
another one that is higher up.
Okay.
But
That's that.
Astrobot,
Yeah.
with how much I love the genre of 3D platformers, is one of my favorite 3D platformers I've ever played.
Man.
Across every system. And Nintendo has some really damn good 3D platformers.
Yeah.
So
That's
does
crazy.
PlayStation, but Astrobot's one of the best. So
I'm
what is
upset
yours?
that I missed that $90 PSVR bundle yesterday. Oh my god, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I was so upset. Anyway, my number 7 is I guess you could argue a niche game, not really, but it's just a game that a game genre that like a lot of people usually don't like. Well, not usually.
Is it a MOBA?
No, God knows. Jesus, go. What am I? Jesus Christ! No, it is Detroit Become Human.
That's not all right.
Some people don't like episodic games. What's wrong? You know what I'm saying? Like some people just like my roommate downloaded Tales from the Borderlands, for example, and he absolutely hated it because he wasn't expecting that. Like he was like, no, like this is boring, like this is trash, whatever. So like, you know what I'm saying? But I'm saying like from a, some people don't like those episodic games, but I do, and I enjoyed Detroit Become Human. I thought it was a super well done narratively, especially narratively. Like it was just super great, very entertaining, very cool choices you're making, choices that are actually hard to make. You know what I'm saying? Which a lot of these games have that, but like this one I feel was especially difficult in terms of just what the whole premise was and what the topic was and how there were definitely correlations to race issues and stuff like that, but in terms of how those race issues would manifest in terms of robots versus humans and like stuff like that and like AI and everything. But overall, amazing game. And I like probably like I guess maybe one of like the best things I have to say about that game. It's like more specifically and why it's on this list. I'd say it's because of the the flow chart that it gives you at the end of every kind of chapter that you get. So like each chapter I'd say is about like 20 to like 30 minutes, right? And at the end of it, some are shorter than that, but like 20 minutes I'd say is probably like the average. But at the end of every section you get this flow chart that highlights what you could have done, what you missed, what you didn't do, and what other people did percentage wise. And I think that just offers like a lot of very clear way for people to go back and replay it and make different choices and see how it all folds out and see every type of scenario that you can get, as opposed to kind of just guessing and hoping that you can see it at the end of the game. I just felt like they just made it a lot more streamlined and a lot more easy to go back and see different ways that you could have had a given scenario. So I think Detroit Become Human, great game, good stuff. Definitely enjoyed it.
Did you only play through it once? Because I know there's a bunch of different endings that weren't replays.
Yeah, so I did my one playthrough just once, and then I did go back to certain sections of the game and see how it would have been if I didn't choose what I did the first time. Like I didn't go through the whole thing again. I just picked some chapters that were really cool and see, oh, okay, so like this person could have lived if I did this, or I could have done this if I found that thing or went in that room, etc. So like I just looked in different instances and like kind of picked what would have been different, but I didn't go through the full thing. And like I'm down maybe like someday, I'll go through it again at some point. But great game. Highly recommend it. Yeah, very, very good stuff. Good stuff. Number 6.
My number 6 is something that I went into this year having zero interest in. Quickly changed my mind. Within a week after release, I was like, you know what, I gotta get it. And it has opened me up to a franchise that I consider myself a huge fan of now, and that is Monster Hunter World. Monster Hunter World.
Interesting. I'm really shocked at your list and where certain things are placed, but did not expect this. How's it going on? But go ahead, continue, sir.
So Monster Hunter World was, for a decent chunk of the year, when we did our Game of the Year so far list, Monster Hunter World was my number 1. And I have not played Monster Hunter World as much since the summer, but that game is so good. I still to this day, I am very impressed with the diversity of the way monsters behave, the AI. I can seriously not comprehend what's going on inside my PlayStation because all of those creatures feel distinct and real. They have their own patterns of movement, where they eat, how they react to other creatures in that world. So many distinct, unique animations. It genuinely makes them feel alive and real. And Monster Hunter World is so good. It sort of replaced my need for something like Destiny. And yeah, I've put close to 100 hours in Monster Hunter World, I think. I love that game to death. I have not played it as much recently, like I said, but they just announced a new expansion coming in fall of 2019 for Monster Hunter World that I'm very excited to play and get back into.
Oh man, in fall of 2019? Man, that's kind of way to know about me. Like that's so dope how they're so gonna be supporting that game, almost 2 years after.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It was January. It was same day as Dragon Ball, but
yeah, because you were enjoying that game so much, I actually bought it, but
you didn't play it, right?
Dude, I came home from a party one day. I was like, hey, let me play Monster Hunter World, and like I got in for like what 15 minutes, like something absurd like that. So I barely played that game. I don't know. I feel like the window for me to go into that game is like thinning by the day at this point.
Honestly, I think you're good right now. Like if you want to check it out, now's as good a time as ever. I'm probably going to get back in over break because of the announcement of the expansion. So
right.
I have a few more Elder Dragons I have to go for and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm very excited for this. I'm praying that we get a new Monster Hunter on the Switch that's like made for the Switch, because the only way Monster Hunter World could have been better is if it was on a handheld that I could play it with my friends in the same room.
Right.
So, but yeah, Monster Hunter World is an incredible game. I love it so much.
Yeah, it was the Game of the Year nominee. A lot of people enjoyed it. Definitely good stuff.
Shout out to it being nominated. That was a good feeling because also just like the year of success it had, and for Capcom as a whole, is just so cool to see. Because
indeed, Capcom's been doing their thing. They are doing their thing. Now, my number 6, last one before we get to our top 5s in this top 10 games of 2018. This is Black Ops 4. Now, okay, you know what? All right, before we get in this, okay, I know I'm a COD fanboy. Okay, I used to be a lot more hardcore of a COD fanboy. Actually, back in like 2012, 2011, that's nearly all that I played. Like, I was one of those people that literally just played Modern Warfare 2 and literally just played Black Ops 1. Like, that was really all I did, So I have a lot of history with Call of Duty as a whole. And really, without Call of Duty, I don't think I'd ever be this hardcore into games without it. Like, I was into games my whole life, but, like, truly, to this degree, I feel like it would not have happened without Call of Duty in a way. But I think Black Ops 4 is just a great game, honestly. And I think, especially in a place right now in terms of multiplayer where Battle Royale is the craze, and the fact that they were able to not only make a Battle Royale for this game and the way that how the games, because how the games are developed is like, yes, they are on 3-year cycles and everything, but Fortnite started popping off late 2017, right? And Black Ops 4 was going to be released in 2018, right? So
and
the fact
PUBG
that
was only a few months before too.
Exactly, yeah, and like arguably, one could say that maybe they started their Blackout development, and like I think it's been said, I don't know exactly what they started, but I would presume that just generally speaking, it was very difficult. I would assume to develop and make Blackout, have it ready for launch, in the point where Battle Royale got big in terms of the Black Ops 4 development cycle, right? Like, the fact that they were able to do that, but not only just do a Battle Royale mode like Blackout, but make it good, how a lot of people are enjoying it, a lot of people are loving it. They think it really has entered in that top Battle Royale game section where, like, we think of, obviously, Fortnite, And then arguably a lot of people consider Blackout over PUBG. Some people think it's Fortnite, PUBG, then Blackout. But the fact that they were even able to kind of break into that top 3, and of course you could talk about advantages of it being Call of Duty, having that name on it, of course. But I think it's just great how a mode like that could be developed in such a short time and it'd be good, and I think that speaks a lot to Treyarch and what they do there at that team. And for me personally, my favorite part of Black Ops 4 is the multiplayer. I think it's great. It's super fun. I've been grinding it out, nonstop here and there, stuff like that. Just very, very fun multiplayer overall. Zombies, that's a whole thing that a lot of people are very upset about in the community. But beside that, I think Black Ops 4 is a great game. Treyarch does great stuff. They make my best Call of Duties, my favorite Call of Duties at that. Shout out to Black Ops 4. Just had to throw it out there. And that and Fortnite are my 2 favorite multiplayer games of this year, But great stuff. So Black Ops 4 is cool. Big fan.
So top 5 time.
Top 5. Here we go. This is where things get dicey. Here we go.
So the top 5 is interesting because a lot of these are just so tailor-made for me. And
before you even get into your top 5, Alex, I think we're on the same page here. My top 5 are all bangers. It's so hard to rank the top 5 because they all could be kind of like shuffled and it would make sense for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for me, I feel like my top 4 are all bangers.
Actually, scratch that. My top 3
fifth is kind of more.
Wait, -2. Hold up, -2. My top 4 is more
my 5th is like a personal choice. I feel like. So my 5th is Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu.
Interesting. Okay.
Because Pokemon was one of the first games I ever played. Huge fan of that series. Love that series to death.
Right.
Them making a full-blown remake of the first Pokemon game I ever played and having it be really good. It's just an awesome play for nostalgia, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
I've had a blast playing that game. I think I'm in the minority, but I enjoy the way they the changes they made. I think it breaks up Pokemon into being more not accessible because it always has been accessible. Just it breaks up the actual gameplay of what you're doing now, because before it was always just if you want to catch one and you run in the wild, you run into it. It's the same exact thing that you do for a trainer, and that gets monotonous after a while. Just mashing A. It's okay, yeah, die, ball, or fighting a trainer, die, spam everything.
Right.
So the changes they made, I'm a big fan of. Hopeful for Gen 8, but yeah, it being on my list for how much fun I had with it. I already have 40 hours in it, and it came out a month ago.
Yeah, I'm dude, dang, jeez, man, holy crap.
Yeah, love it. Big fan of it. So that is my number 5.
Do you think it's a very good kind of holdover until you guys get the more traditional Pokemon that's coming out next year? I believe, right?
100%.
It's a great kind of obviously it's not what the traditional it's not a traditional Pokemon in a full sense as far as I'm aware, as far as the game. Yeah, I'm saying so.
It's interesting because I played it at first like a traditional game, only catching the people I want on my team. I wasn't just catching chains of things to super power up my team. So I was catching who I wanted, and then when I actually went into fights, I wasn't super strong because I couldn't grind in the wild and make my team beefcakes. I was oh, I'm experiencing challenge in a Pokemon game.
Wait a minute, it's kind of difficult.
Yeah.
Hold up.
Yeah. So for the first half of that, I really did run into a lot of walls where I'm okay, I really have to think strategically here. I can't just brute force my way through all the gyms like I did historically in Pokemon because I just love having a strong team.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's a good entry point too for people who have a Switch who haven't played it before. Good entry point, good holdover, good game. What is your number 5?
My number 5, it's upsetting to put here. I'm gonna keep it honest.
I swear to God, if you put what I think you're gonna put here,
it's very upsetting to put here. I feel like, because this game got the same treatment as another game did last year.
No, this is not a number 5 game. No,
but I had to do it to him. My 5 game is Spider-Man PlayStation 4. Listen, it's a great game.
Explain yourself. Explain why.
Okay, honestly,
why is it number 5?
It's because, oh my God, it's okay. Once you see my other 4, I think you'll fully understand why.
Oh, right? I don't know.
No, you will understand my reason, because like I have vouched for every one of these games. I have vouched for, but I hate to put it in this. Because in the same way that a lot of people that played Horizon Zero Dawn last year were upset that I didn't get any type of awards, even though it deserved it. Leading up to Game Awards 2018, I'm like, oh man, like we're looking at the nominees, we're looking at what we played this year overall, we're looking at all the games that are coming out in the fall. I'm like, man, like Spider-Man might get the Horizon treatment in terms of like Game Awards stuff and everything and stuff like that, and it did. Spider-Man didn't get anything for Game Awards, and a lot of people would, and I feel like the overall consensus, I feel like overall people would have been like, no, like Spider-Man deserves some sort of award. Like it's a great game. Like it's a good game, right?
Yeah.
But I think what soured it, at least for me, and I know we talked about this a lot. And let me just preface before I even go, like, it's a good game. Like Spider-Man PS4.
It's not number 5 because of those challenges in the DLC.
No.
I'm hanging up.
Not that.
Okay.
Those screwball challenges are cancer, but not that. But I think it's just that, like I feel like if I was complete radio silence in this game and didn't see the E3 2018 trailers, like specifically, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if I, went in to this game being a more average consumer of games, as opposed to someone that has to be aware and has to cover all these things, has to talk about them, etc., and just be in this game's marketing, like in like nose deep and everything. I think I would have found the overall game a lot more enjoyable, and I feel like the surprises would have been a lot more surprising in itself, right? But
these are valid statements.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that is the main thing that doesn't have me thinking about Spider-Man PS4 the way I think about God of War to this day. Like still, like when I'm just like chilling anywhere, right? I'd be like, man, like that was so.
It's just it's like crazy to me because I felt like that was a bigger problem for me, and I have it higher than you do. That's what's crazy.
It's just I just love the other 4 games like so, and 2 of them you're gonna be like, okay, duh, right? Third one, I feel like you're gonna be like, oh, like I didn't realize you liked it this much, and the other one, which is actually ranked higher, is just out of just like it's so weird. I don't know, but I just like I don't know what it is, but I think you're gonna understand once I say my other 4. But Spider-Man PS4, Spider-Man PS4 is great. The DLC season is going great as well. We're gonna actually finish that DLC season this weekend. Spider-Man Silver Lining DLC stream, come for that. It's gonna be dope. But beside the point, great game. I thought it was just one of the best Spider-Man stories we've had. I think the performance of Yuri Lowenthal as Peter Parker is amazing. I think it is truly a performance of this generation that I think should not be ever forgotten, if you will. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't know. It sucks that I have to put in that top 5, but there were just a lot of other games that really just blew me away. But shout out Spider-Man. Shout out. What is your number 5? 4?
4. My number 4 game is, again, this is sort of niche because of what it is. Just as a whole, what this game is. It's VR. It is Tetris Effect.
There it is. There we go.
Tetris Effect is my 4th favorite game of the year. It is so damn good. I love the Tetris Effect so much. Yeah, I've gushed about this game a million times. I will happily do it again. Tetris Effect, to me, is the reason to own a VR headset. It is incredible because VR, what I wanted was to be able to step into the headset and experience things that I can't in real life and experience places I can't go right now. And Tetris Effect, on top of being a perfect game, because Tetris is a perfect video game, like that's a fact, is just so unique in the fact that it combines pretty much every single sense that you experience to create just an amazing VR experience. Because the music, the soundtrack in the game alone is worth $40. The visuals that you get in the headset, just being able to stand on the moon and play Tetris, watch over like celestial camels in the desert as the sun sets, and then fade into being on the moon, just swimming with dolphins underwater and then popping above the ocean and then having seagulls fly next to you while you're playing Tetris and listening to amazing music is so good. I cannot say enough good things about this game, just like Astrobot. And yeah, Tetris Effect is my favorite. I think potentially Tetris Effect might have been my favorite first night with a game of this year, because the first night I played Tetris, I just played nonstop. I played it for the first day I had it. I played it for like 4 hours in the headset, and then I really wanted to play it again. So at like 1 a.m, I hopped into like 4, and it was just another 3 hours in Tetris. Tetris Effect is so good. I love that game to death.
It's like what you know me and this like flirting type of deal with me and VR.
I know what the thing is. I know you're gonna buy one. It's just
I know when. I am. It's just when, because here's what it is. So like, you also know that I love music, like a lot, right?
And the music in this game is
exactly right. And so now I'm thinking like, okay, I have 2 VR games that I want to play solely because of the music, right? It's Beat Saber also, and Tetris Effect.
Worth mentioning, I know sometimes both of us can get emotional at games. You can cry in a VR headset and it works because the song that they use to market the Tetris Effect, when you hear it in game and see what's happening, made me cry.
Oh, okay. It's so because you know me in tears.
It's so easy. You just press the button, slide it off, wipe the tears, put it back on.
Actually, I want to go back to my top 10 and see which games I cried on, because it's a few. But that's just. I mean, I don't know how else you can speak volumes to VR and its current state right now in terms of the offering that it gives software wise, as to put
the price too.
In your, yeah. And if that $90 deal comes again, I'm gonna get it. But at some point, relatively soon, I will get PSVR, and I will play Beat Saber until I die. But that's how it is. Now, my number 4, a game that I was a bit upset that you put so low in the list, but to each his own.
Oh, right.
It is Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Now, I adored this game. I adored it, and I still do adore it.
And you still adored it, even though you picked Alexios.
Yeah. Honestly, that's an even bigger compliment. Honestly, yeah, you're kind of right. Like, I did pick. Not
to derail you, but did you see that stat the other day?
No.
Ubisoft said 2/3 of players played as Alexios.
What?
Right?
Wait, what?
2/3 of people who played Assassin's Creed Odyssey made the wrong choice. No offense. Isn't that crazy?
Why is it that high? Why is it that high? That has no reason being that high.
I mean, I probably know, but like, I think Cassandra's just a great character. But continue. This is your time.
That's yeah, no, that's crazy. But like overall, I thought it was just what really hooked me about Odyssey was that is the opening 4 hours, right? So you play the intro, and you kind of forget that there hasn't been a title screening or like any like definitive like start to the game. You know, it kind of just starts at
Right.
first, right? So you know, doing these things, you do a few missions, and for I think generally speaking, it's 4 hours long. Like I think like because that's how long it was for me to get to that title screen. And I think for everyone else it was relatively around there. But once you get past the 4 hour mark, that's when it's like, oh, like we're in this now. Like it wasn't, you know, the past 4 hours I've been playing. Not that it was pointless, but like now we're in it. Like that like build was just great. So overall, it's a great story. I can't speak to enough. And I guess another reason why I was on there is of course the side quest, which I played one. I forgot her name, which it's whatever. But like I like didn't really get into any relationships in the game just because I kind of just like was like, like, I don't know how I feel about this. Like, I don't know if like Alexis, like I don't know if he would actually do this at this current time. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. But just the crazy like side missions that you get and like these side threads that you get in that game, but visiting just like some random island trying to, because like you'll like go to a location trying to just rank up your character, you know, and just be there not to play a side mission, but you'll just play one, whatever, and you'll get so synced in and so hooked on whatever side mission storyline that is being presented to you. It's great. I loved it. I beat it a few weeks ago. Enjoyed my time with it. And obviously we have our issues with the whole, you know, walls that are in the game that force you to rank up and stuff like that. But overall, great game. Gameplay's fun. Story's fun.
Good also, stuff. Shout out to the really weird stuff in that game. I don't want to like spoil anything, but like
there's some weird stuff in the game.
The game takes advantage of the mythology, I guess.
Yes.
And there's some pretty cool stuff in there.
It's cool.
I tried running into something full on and got crushed. But there's some cool stuff in that game. I appreciate the weird stuff. And you always, for me at least, I really was so invested in that story. I kept forgetting it was an Assassin's Creed game. And it's like, oh yeah, there's like aliens in play sometimes in Assassin's Creed games, you know?
Yeah.
Like there's like a weird past, like super advanced technology civilizations that they never mention.
Yeah.
It's I forgot.
It's cool. It's dope. Assassin's Creed Odyssey is amazing, honestly. And like, and if you're one of those that, you know, have heard that, or not heard, but just like know from like that weird era of AC, probably like after AC2, maybe between AC2 and like what Origins, I'd say, kind of a low. Maybe
I would say between 4 and Origins.
Yeah.
Probably 4 was very well received.
Yeah. So probably
3 was like a little dip, but 4 was very well received.
Like, if you still think that like Assassin's Creed as a franchise is still in that hole of its history where it's like horrible and like
stale,
stale, you know, trash, whatever, it's not that anymore by like tenfold. It is amazing. It is.
Yeah, Odyssey is my favorite Assassin's Creed game, and
it's great. So good.
I say favorite, but it's like it's like that and Brotherhood. It's so close.
Right.
But it's in a very good spot right now.
Yeah, it literally took everything from Origins, which I love the Origins already. You haven't played Origins, but Origins was amazing and was received. I feel
I still want to.
Odyssey. Yeah, which I definitely think you should. And like, I feel like Origins like was received similarly, but it was still in that like there was still I feel like a lot of doubt for people that haven't played it if it's really even that good or we're just like, you know, hyping it up. But I think Odyssey proved that it is no hype. It is actually just as good now. Yeah. So shout out to Oz. What is your top 4?
3. Top 3 now.
I can't count clearly, as you can tell.
So number 3.
Oh,
there are a handful of games that could be the number 3 spot right now. But whereas
if you put some, go ahead.
Where my number 1 is a 10. And my number 2, I'll give you the exact score I gave it. The number 2 is a 9.4. Number 3 is a very, 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 very good 8.8, and that is Spider-Man.
Okay, okay, I can see that. Okay, that's fine.
So Insomniac Spider-Man, I've been a fan of Insomniac ever since Spyro on the PlayStation 1.
Mm-hmm.
Consistently one of my favorite, close to first-party PlayStation studios.
Mm-hmm.
And Spyro was on this list earlier tonight. Spyro really gave me my love for Insomniac because that continued on the PS2 with Ratchet and Clank, and that continued on the PS3 with the Resistance and Ratchet and Clank Future. And seeing them tackle Spider-Man just feels so good. Being a fan of their entire history and lineage. On the other hand, being a huge fan of Spider-Man my entire life, really loving that character to death. And with all these Spider-Man content we've had recently, Spider-Man PS4, it just is incredible. It is my favorite interpretation of Peter Parker to this day.
Indeed.
You mentioned Yuri Lowenthal. His performance as Peter Parker and Spider-Man is my favorite out of anyone who's ever inhabited that character. And I mentioned this earlier when we talked about the Game Awards. I think of Yuri Lowenthal and Peter Parker and Spider-Man the same way I think of Kevin Conroy with Bruce Wayne and Batman now.
Right.
And it even goes further because for a project I recently had to do analyzing any comic I wanted to, I chose my favorite comic, which is Spider-Man Blue. I read Spider-Man Blue, and for Peter's dialogue, it was all Yuri's voice.
Yeah, that's
cool. The entire way I was reading that character. It's so good. He just fills in that role incredibly well. There's so many great ways to tackle the Spider-Man mythos in that game, the way they did it, the slight variations they made to make it feel new and unique. There's an incredible scene at the end of the game, which really puts it like in my heart forever. It was predictable. It was a very refined version of things we've seen before from superhero games in general, not just Spider-Man games. But Spider-Man is a perfect Spider-Man game. I don't think I could ask for much more. The DLC, even on top of it, has been fantastic. Indeed. And they've just nailed every single addition they made to that game. Love my experience with Spider-Man. My Spider-Man PS4 Pro is sitting down over there. And I really, really loved this game. And yeah, I don't know what else I can say about it.
It's great. It's great. And like, I know I upset you, but no, it is, it's just a great game. That's what it is. Like Spider-Man PS4 is great. And like the fact that, you know, when you think about it, you know, we've had like many major Spider-Man movies that have come out. You know, we've had Andrew Garfield. I don't know about great, but you know, Andrew Garfield.
I enjoyed.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I don't like a lot of people don't like it. I actually enjoyed it. It is what it is. We've had what's the first one that everyone loves and everyone God, I'm forgetting his name.
Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire, thank you. Yeah, Tobey Maguire we now have with the MCU backing and everything. We now have Tom Holland and everything. And the fact that like we have all of that, right? And Spider-Man PS4 is the best one. Like I'm gonna have to agree with you, sir. Like I'm gonna have to also agree. Like I love Tom Holland right now. Like I think it's the best movie Spider-Man we've had. I think it's definitely him. But as a whole, like in terms of like all media, even when we bring in games, like Yuri did kill it. Like he just did. Like it just is what it is, you know.
Worth mentioning. Haven't seen Spider-Verse yet, but I love.
Ask you.
But I love Jake Johnson. I love him so much. I think he's a great actor. I loved him on New Girl and anything he's been in. Jake Johnson, he's the one who plays Peter now.
Yes.
In Spider-Verse, I love Jake Johnson so much. So it's cool that he's Peter, but it's going to be hard to topple everything Yuri did.
Dude, you have to see Spider-Verse, man.
I know. I'm going this week.
God, you have to go. Like, please. Like, honestly, leave right now. Screw this. All right, no, just kidding. Okay. Now, into the top 3. This three, organizing this 3 is very difficult for me personally. It has been a very difficult balance, but I think I have struck a balance that I believe is fair for the games, fair for how I feel about them personally, and fair just overall, right?
Can I say something?
Yes, sir. You may proceed.
I have no idea what the third game is here out of this 3.
Oh,
like,
really?
not what your number 3 is. I know what 2 of these games are. I have
Yes.
no idea what the third is.
No, you definitely know.
I don't.
What I'm talking about.
I don't.
I'm talking about.
I
played the
okay.
beginning. Yeah, you know what it is. I played the beginning this year. It truly broke my heart. It. Okay, it's Celeste. Right, guys. Now guys, come on. Let's just. I swear to God, this might be the last time I talk about Celeste. For the 80th time I'm talking about it on these shows.
Celeste 2.
I want so bad. But Celeste is just amazing, guys. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. If the other 2 games did not come out, if we had like a lull period, this would be my game of the year. 100%. Like, it is, and like it is just some of the most fun gameplay I've ever played. And the way the gameplay ties in with the story, similar in the way that Florence does, in a way where it kind of has like these game mechanics that make sense narratively and stuff like that. But just the way, and dude, it is a must play. Like, sincerely, like, I don't know how else I can like further explain that or interpret that, but the story is emotional as hell. I cried multiple times. At the end, I beat the game, right? I was in my living room. It was like 2 a.m, and I'm sitting there like straight up like silent sobbing. Like, it is so worth every ounce of effort you put into that game, and the payoff is just incredible to see. It's amazing. It truly is it is one of the most perfect games I've ever played in my life. It is. I will never forget this game, ever. I will never, ever forget the experience I had with this game and going through it and learning the story and being in it. And I'm not alone in that. A lot of other people. And the fact that it even got nominated for Game of the Year. It didn't win. And obviously, I didn't think it was going to win because just the competition just, whatever. But the fact that it even got there it just speaks so... Like, dude, play Celeste. For the love of God, everyone plays Celeste. For the love of God. Matt makes games. The team they did there, it's amazing. Just Celeste is great. Celeste is just fucking a masterpiece.
Yeah, I still have to play Celeste, but I believe everything that people have said about it.
It's and like I want it, and like with my top 3, especially obviously with you too, I feel like it's gonna get hard at this point, like, because you could easily just rearrange these 3. It would make sense to me. It'd be, okay, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Especially that's more so with my top 3. My top 3, you can shuffle, and I can understand why it's like that, 100%. But Celeste is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
What is your number 2?
Number
Can
2.
I count now? Oh my God, I can count. Okay, we're good.
Number 2. No clever preamble this time. It's God of War. Number 2 is God of War. Second favorite game of the year. I'll say that I think the direction of God of War is incredible. The best of this year. I think everything about that story, how well it's told through its one main goal, get to the top of the mountain. And the way they play with expectations of that. The journey you go on, I think, is great. That story's great. Kratos, I've never cared about my entire life until this game. I think Atreus, too, great character. Love the moments in that game. There are a few points where it dips for me, specifically Alfheim. I think I'll say not like while I was playing it, but after the fact, the whole sidestep into Alfheim to get further up the mountain wasn't sitting well with me. I don't know what it was. I think I thought visually Alfheim was one of my favorite places to see in that game. Just the design of Alfheim was incredible, and when it clicked in my head, it was like, oh, we're gonna see other realms. Like, it's not just in Midgard. It's like, oh, we're going to the other realms. That's sick. That was a great moment too. But yeah, some of the, I guess, dungeon design, if you want to call it that, left me not wanting more, but like, it was straightforward to a certain degree where it was like, okay, you could do a little bit more here. But yeah, God of War is a great game. I'm all in for this new God of War story that they're going to be telling, however many games they make after this. I love this game. It's in my top favorites of all time now. I think Corey told a great story. I think he's a great personality, and I love the work he did for God of War. I love the performances. I love the story. And as far as a single-player narrative goes, very good. As far as a PlayStation exclusive goes, I think it's the best one you can get 100%. On any system.
100%.
Not just PS4. Like, best game, including PS3. I think this is a better game than The Last of Us. I think it is better than any of the Uncharted's. It's better than any Naughty Dog game, better than Horizon.
I've never thought about it like that, but I think I'm gonna have to agree, sir. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm gonna have to.
I mean, it's not as good as Persona 5, which is also exclusive to PlayStation. But I mean more so in the fact of, like, first-party PlayStation.
Just a first-party? Okay. This might be. Oh, man.
So, like, because, like, Bloodborne is in first-party. I think Bloodborne's a little bit better than God of War. Persona 5, a lot better than God of War. But God of War is a great game. And until my number one, it was my favorite game of the year. So I'm sure you have much to say about God of War.
Yeah, this is
after this next game.
I think this is where we divert.
So go ahead.
I think this is where our paths kind of divert, if you will. So my number 2 game is a game I didn't even think I was going to play this year. I didn't think I was going to get into. I had no plan, really. I know it was a big game. I know it was a huge deal. I know everyone loved it, and especially from the devs that are bringing this game to life. I know the pedigree. I knew all about how much of a massive game this was, but I didn't think I would personally. I wanted to, but I wanted to play the first game in this franchise, and I did. Red Dead Redemption 1. Great story. Loved it. I fully understand it. It was a great thing. So now I was like, okay, I'm going to get this next game. It's going to be great, right? So
Grand Theft Auto 5.
My number 2 is Grand Theft Auto Online. No. It is Red Dead Redemption 2. And I just don't like it's just a game that I didn't expect. So after Red Dead 1, I know me and you talked a lot about this, right? And this is probably just like reiteration of what we've all said, about this game overall. But I did not expect a Arthur Morgan to top John Marston. I just thought it would have happened. I don't know. And like, especially like how like you were talking about, like he seems very mundane, seems very dry. So I was like, oh man, like okay, like maybe, and if Christian loves John as much as I do at this point, and he arguably probably loves him a lot more because he's had a lot of years to think about John as a character and everything, stuff like that, and just have his overall more history of Red Dead than I do, then if he's worried about Arthur, then I guess I should probably be worried about Arthur, like maybe like he might not be the best character in the world, like maybe, just character-wise, Arthur might just not be up to snuff in terms of John. But we were both horribly wrong. I think it's safe to say. I still love John, and I'm still playing through the still playing through the epilogue, still haven't beat that yet. So, of course, that is where kind of I think both of our opinions are kind of tainted there, where we both haven't played this iteration, quote-unquote, of John yet. So, who knows? But Arthur Morgan is better than John at this current point. The story is amazing. I love, and I think mainly like it's not so much like the story as a whole is what makes Red Dead great. I think it's just the characters in this game, and how they all fit together, and how just the dialogue and everything, like that, and just how all the relationships build, and how this whole vision of Dutch's gang turns to how we know it was in Red Dead 1 and how it came to be. And just that turn and just seeing it all just unfold in front of you is just amazing. You know what I'm saying? And the performances are just incredible. I think my favorite performance, of course, not including Arthur, because Arthur, you know, I'll talk about like performance that isn't me as Arthur, right? Is Dutch. I think Dutch did an incredible job in this game. And that is with all the other interesting side characters, like even Micah, I thought was really good. You know, I thought a lot of other characters were really great. Abigail and herself, I felt like she kind of, you know, did some things that I felt were really good and stuff like that overall. But it is, I mean, it didn't win Game of the Year. I almost said it did. It didn't win Game of the Year, but if it did, there would be no issue with me. There would be no like rebuttal or whatever. Red Dead Redemption 2 is an amazing game. You know.
Yes.
So.
And because of that is my number one. Favorite game of the year, second favorite game of all time now. Arthur Morgan is one of my favorite characters in games ever. If not my favorite player character. Just because of that performance, because of what happens to him in that game, because of the amount of effort that that character has tied to him as far as his own personal arc. Like you said about Dutch, I think Dutch is also one of my favorite characters in games ever, and this is coming from someone who's a huge fan of Red Dead Redemption. Could not care less about Dutch because he was barely in that game. You told me he was in it twice. I didn't even remember the second time. I only remember the first, like he was running into him at the end.
Off of my top of my head, I think he's in it 3 times actually.
Yeah, see?
I think it's where like you first meet him. Then there's a scene where he's in the like last kind of area of Red Dead 1, the city type of area, the more urban part, up north, if you will. There, and then he's last seen at his, you know, last scene.
Yeah.
To, you know, put it bluntly. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Like Dutch in Red Dead felt non-existent almost, and the presence that Dutch has in Red Dead is in Red Dead 2 is incredible. Also, continuing characters, Sadie and Charles, again, in some of my favorite video game characters ever.
Charles especially. Charles, I forgot to mention, but Charles is amazing, 100%.
Yeah, Sadie and Charles and Arthur, all new characters, and I was worried in general about the new characters going into this game. They have surpassed the characters of Red Dead Redemption for me because I just love them that much. I think they're so well written, well performed. As a whole, I think Red Dead is an incredible game because of the way they make you feel like you're there. Whereas in the first Red Dead, I felt like it was pulpy, sort of a theme park version of experiencing the Old West. Like, oh, here's the rundown town. Here's the city folk. Here's the fort with all the bad guys in it. Here's
right.
The water hole. Here's the main character's ranch, like stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Red Dead 2 feels like
it's a
realized world.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. In a way that few games I've ever played have. Down to characters and even as grand scale as places and progression in the world, because like small little side bit, but in Valentine, one of the first towns you go to, there's a building that's being built, and as the game progresses, it's still being built, and by the end of the game, it's still not built. Like they're still building it. Yeah. Like that world evolves over time. And it's brutally honest, I feel like, in the way it presents the world, because there are some things you can't do, and it's like, yeah, well, if you were there, you couldn't do this. Like, just deal with it. That's happening. Like, that person over there just got shot, and there's nothing you could have done about it because you were drinking, you know? Like there's just that world feels alive. There's so many great moments in that game, story and just exploring the world. Gameplay is fantastic. I know there's some debate on the controls. Honestly, it controls just as well as every other Rockstar game I've ever played, so that was fine with me. And yeah, I think Red Dead is one of the best games ever made. I think it's one of the best stories ever told. Period.
100%.
So
100%.
That is why it is my game of the year. Thank you, Rockstar. Online, I'll check out when it's like
stable, fun.
Not even stable, just like there's stuff to do.
Yeah, when there's stuff to do. Okay.
Also,
yeah.
Closing note for Red Dead. I think comparing again one last time to Red Dead Redemption and with Red Dead 2, I think the span of 8 years between when the first game came out and when Red Dead 2 came out, you can see all the lessons Rockstar learned from their other projects, everything they've like their growth, because again, I was so worried about Arthur going into Red Dead 2. Arthur Morgan feels like a person, whereas in hindsight, John Marston feels like the cowboy character, gamey guy. You know,
100%. Yeah,
like he's not as well realized, and I would love, fingers crossed, to see a reimagining, remake, if you will, of Red Dead Redemption with the engine of Red Dead 2, with the talent and with the actual knowledge they have now of everything they've learned since the first Red Dead. Implement that into recreating John's story. Because I feel like if they did, the package of Red Dead 2, including a remake of Red Dead 1, would be untouchable by almost anything.
I remember when you linked me that there's been some code that people have found.
Rumblings.
There's some rumblings. There's some things. There's something is afoot. Something's up.
There's a fully rendered Mexico in the game that you never go to.
That could lead to and oh my God, wait a minute. Do you remember that a Mexico thing? That was actually something that I found before release of Red Dead 2, but people were just assuming that, oh, okay, this is maybe where like online's gonna take place. Yeah. I totally forgot about that. Oh my God. So because of all of that, right? I would play Red Dead 1 again if it was in Red Dead 2 engine 100%. Like that's not even, and like
plus like redo John's performance, add some stuff to humanize him, connect everything better.
Exactly. You know? Yeah. And like the fact that in Red Dead 1, Arthur Morgan is never name dropped ever.
Mm-hmm. And he now you see how tied he is to John.
Yeah, and how tied he is to John and to Abigail, for example, and even to Dutch as well. Like, especially with Dutch, even like
make Dutch a better character and more of an antagonist for Red Dead 2.
Because like Red Dead 1, like Red Dead 1. When you play it, like Arthur never gets name dropped, and like that was probably because they didn't have the concept of him, maybe. I don't know. But beside the point, just to like bring one more kind of notch to the fact that Rockstar has grown from their development, of Red Dead 1 versus Red Dead 2. We both had the same reaction where when John was first in Red Dead 2, we both were like, "Huh, like he sounds kind of weird," and like I like brought it to you. I'm like, "Yeah, like this." Like, are we sure it's the same actor? Because, like, I'm pretty sure it is, but, like, it sounds different. And you're like, no, Kev. Like, it is the same one. It's him. It's just he's actually, like, inflecting and actually, like, doing a voice acting performance as opposed to, like, being this, like...
Red Dead 1 every game is just like, I'm John Marston.
Yeah. As opposed to being, like, this, like, stereotypical, like, just, like, has a very limited tone to speak in Red Dead 1, because like that's really like what it is. Like when you go back to like John in Red Dead 1, like he doesn't sound like he is in Red Dead 2, and it's not because... And
at first I thought it was just because it was a younger version of John, but then I was like, oh, he's been acting more, like he knows. So
and to even fall in love with Red Dead 1, John, that speaks whole volumes to how beside the point. Red Dead's amazing. My number one. It was shaky. I'm gonna have to admit, it was shaky.
When did you decide? I would like to know. When did you decide between these two games?
The next day after I beat Red Dead 2's main story. I really, really took a long time. And that was only a day, but I thought about it a lot, and I went back and I watched different clips of my gameplay segment of when I recorded my full playthrough of God of War, and I even went back last night and played it and stuff like that's really kind of just like solidify, my choice. You know what I'm saying? Because ever since I beat God of War, okay, so 2018. Let's walk this through. Okay, Celeste comes out in January. That's my game of the year currently, right? And I'm like, man, like, if there's anything that's going to beat this game, I'm going to be shocked because I love Celeste, right? So Celeste was my number one up from January up until April 20th when God of War dropped, right? God of War dropped. That first night, I fell in love with the game. And I'm like, crap, this could probably be better than Celeste. I beat God of War. I'm like, it beat Celeste. This is my game of the year currently, right? And then I played Red Dead 1, and I'm like, oh, man, Red Dead 2 might be some fire, and that really might take it over God of War. But I was still like, I don't know, like, maybe, like, we'll see. But, like, you know, because, like, currently, like, I would rank God of War over Red Dead 1, you know, even after playing Red Dead 1. But I did enjoy Red Dead 1 a lot. So I was like, okay, like, we'll see how it goes, okay? Playing through Red Dead 2, it's a very much of a slow hook. It's same with Red Dead 1, as opposed to God of War that just grabbed me by my neck and choked me out. You're gonna love this game, you know. So I'm having that slow type of, you know, grip with Red Dead 2, and it's sinking its claws slowly into me, but it is sinking and sinking. And then it was my last PlayStation with Red Dead 1 that was of any substance. Was when I beat it, and it was an 8-hour. It was a Monday. It was all day. Because like things happen in the second half end to Red Dead 2 where I'm like, oh, dude, like there's no way I'm not going to sleep tonight and not knowing how this plays out. Like I can't, right? So I played Red Dead 2, beat it, and then I was just like, man, like I don't know if it's gonna be better. Like I just don't know. You know what I'm saying? And like I know.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
I feel like I asked you this before. How was your honor?
It was above half, not full good, but about halfway on the way to good.
Okay.
Why?
Because there are different endings.
Did you get a different ending than me?
I don't know. I don't think we talked about the ending because there is a decision you make at the end.
Yes, I did get a decision. Yes.
And I'm assuming you picked the right decision there.
Yeah, like I'm not an idiot. No, like okay. You know, like listen, I'm all about secure the bag in real life, but like in that instance, I could not secure the bag at that point in time. Yeah, so I definitely made that decision. I wonder what the other decision was. I mean, so
I've looked it up. It's rough.
It's rough.
Look it up after. No, rough isn't like, oh God.
Oh,
not like oh, this is. It's
okay.
Yeah, but continue.
But I understand that, you know, Rockstar makes generation-defining games. Like, that's just a fact. You know what I'm saying? Like, GTA 5 is still massive to this day. And people, you know, when they go buy a console, when they go buy a PS4 or Xbox, or when they build a PC, for example, you just get Grand Theft Auto. Like, you just get the Rockstar game that's out because you just do. Maybe not so much for Red Dead 1, but like especially in terms of GTA, like you just get Rockstar games. That's just what you do. Like it's like a tax. Like you just do it, you know? So, you know, of course, with that knowledge, I understand that, but God of War is just perfect. Can I say that? Can I say God of War is perfect? Like, I'm going to say it. God of War is a perfect game to me, right? In terms of the story, in terms of the gameplay, I think it's very fun. Like, it's just, and there are moments in this game that are still things that I think about on a daily basis, right? Literally, I will never forget. I could probably voice, like, I will never forget Kratos dragging this boat after saving Atreus. And he's like upset. Atreus is like, bye, whatever. And then Kratos is like, okay, I cannot hide the truth anymore from this kid. Like, I just can't do it anymore. And he spills the beans. You're a god, boy. I'm a god. You have God in you. Ah, da, da. You know, like that whole, like, There's just so many moments and like the ends where especially the ends when Kratos takes off his bandages and lets it go with the wind. And it's like I have nothing left to hide anymore, and shows the like singed parts of his chains that used to be there permanently. Now they aren't. But it's just, I think God of War is game of the generation. I think God of War is of course the best game on PlayStation 4. I think it is a must play if you are buying a PS4. I think it's a must play. I think it probably my favorite game ever. Likely my favorite game ever. It's just it's just a fact. Like it is what it is. Like as much as I loved Red Dead, playing through that this year, which was, I thank you so much for making me play that, because I'm like, dude, I can't imagine having this conversation and not playing Red Dead 1 and 2. Like I would be so lost. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I'd just be
right, because if you didn't play Red Dead,
exactly,
it would just be me sitting here for however long we've been recording, just being like, your list is wrong.
100%. Like it is what it is. Like, can you imagine? Like so like shout out for you pushing me to play God of War, because like shout out. I mean, pushing me to play Red Dead. My bad.
Yeah, because I do understand having God of War first, just because Red Dead is more open in the way it tells the story, and it's more. Well, God of War isn't. I don't think of God of War as an open world game.
No.
It is more linear. It isn't like just like Uncharted linear, but
it's like hub based. I'd say it's like a hub based open world type of thing.
Like in my head, it's still a linear game.
Yeah.
It's like you go here to here. There's things you can do along the way, but and that comes down to just a preference, I feel like. But yeah, I understand it.
And I don't know, like I think, and I've said this before. I think I said it in the review I did. I'm pretty sure, but like what is like the main grab for me about God of War, right, is of course the story as it's presented to you. Like the main story is of course phenomenal, right? But the real story that I took away that I will never forget as well throughout my whole life is the relationship between Kratos and Atreus, and how where it was in the very beginning of the game versus where it was at the end of the game. Like that to me is the real story in God of War. Like the real story that like actually is just a real story to me. Like that is just like where it's at. Like that is where the root of all that I love about this game rests. Is just the lessons that Kratos tries to teach him and stuff like that, and the conversations they have, and when they bicker and when they fight, and when Atreus is going off on this crazy tangent, whatever, you know, like the way like they at first butting heads, and the reason why they're even on this journey in the first place is because that the most important person in both of their lives has died. And she's with them throughout this whole journey, you know, like in obviously physically the form of the ashes, but the fact that like she laid out this whole entire thing and she put this whole entire journey in motion, you know, for them to see a better way, you know, I don't know. It's just God of War is amazing. Like God of War,
it's a great game.
To me, it's amazing, and that's just the T. Like I don't know. It is what it is. But Corey Barlog's a god. Can I say that?
There you have it. Those are our individual top 10s of the year. We have some overlap, obviously, because there were some great games this year. Kevin, why don't you read through your top 10 one more time? 10 to 1.
All right. My number 10 is Florence. Number 9 is Far Cry 5. Number 8 is Dead Cells. Number 7 is Detroit Become Human. Number 6 is Black Ops 4. Number 5 is Spider-Man PS4. Number 4 is Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Number 3 is Celeste. Number 2 is Red Dead Redemption 1. And number 1 is God of War.
Very good. I respect your opinions, but like Spider-Man at 5 is the one I'm just gonna like hold over you forever.
I'm so sorry. I don't want to do it to him, but I had to.
So for me, number 10 is the Spyro Reignited Trilogy, almost dethroned by Fortnite. Number 9 is Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Number 8.
One I hate you for, low key, but go ahead.
But you get it though. That's the thing. Number 8 is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Number 7 is Astrobot Rescue Mission for PlayStation VR. Number 6 is Monster Hunter World. Number 5 is Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. Number 4 is the Tetris Effect. Number 3 is Spider-Man, Marvel's Spider-Man. Number 2 is God of War. And number 1 is Red Dead Redemption 2. 2018, put a bow on it.
Great game.
There you go.
Great game. Great year. I don't want to say great.
Very good year for games. Very good year for
very
lots of entertainment in general.
Yeah, and there's even like a lot of games that I feel would have been on here if I had played them. Like Messenger, I think would have been on here at somewhere in here. I think Messenger would have been on here. I think for me, oh my god, what's that one game? I don't
know.
I have it on Switch. Hollow Knight. I think Hollow Knight would have also been on here if I played it. Monster Hunter World, maybe, but great stuff.
Yeah, so both of us have a lot of games to get to over the break, I'm sure, from either this year or last year. But these are the games we played of this year. These are the games we enjoyed the most that we played of this year. As it stands currently, PlayStation Source is wrapped for 2018, with the exception of Spider-Man DLC Silver Lining content this weekend.
Yes, that we will do a full stream as we did for the other 2 DLCs. Of course, we'll do the same thing. Have a good time. It's looking like it's going to be a Saturday morning stream, so look out for that. The DLC comes out the day before on Friday on the 21st, but it looks like we're gonna have a little. You know what? Maybe we'll do a little holiday. You know, Santa hat. I don't know. We'll figure it out, but we're definitely going to do a DLC 3 stream, so make sure to look out for that and look out for the Discord and the Twitter for updates on that stream when they come.
So, no promises, but over the holiday break, maybe some streams popping up around the internet between the both of us. I prefer Twitch. I know you like YouTube streaming, but like Kevin said, go ahead.
I do have one question.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're including this in the like things that are going to be still up on the channel, but I mean, do we want to sit here and discuss what is the PlayStation Source game of the year?
Not right now. Like,
because no, honestly, I don't want to either. But like,
yeah. So, yeah. I guess for the rest of 2018 and early 2019, we'll be streaming some stuff most likely. I've got a few Nintendo things lined up to stream on twitch.tv/joyclicks. Have to make some decisions regarding that. Maybe some Smash with Kevin if we can figure out how to stream that.
Yeah. We gotta do that. And also, I do want to play, do like a full playthrough of The Order 1886. That's a game that.
Ooh, that's a good choice.
Yeah, that's a game that I fell off relatively early. I feel like I didn't give it its right care. It's right fair shake. You know what I'm saying? And I've heard it's relatively short. Like I feel like I can do like a 6-hour, 7-hour stream and like have the game. I think right.
I platinumed it within 8 hours.
Oh, okay, yeah. So like that's gonna be easy, just like one day full merit. So like I do want to do that sometime this week. So I'm probably not this week, but sometime in the break. So look out for like a full playthrough of Order 1886 because I feel like it's worth it. You know, like I feel like it's worth it.
So, like Kevin said, join the Discord, check out the Twitter to keep up with what we're doing over the break. Here, there, everywhere.
Especially this
one. Also, holiday season, people are getting games, so we may play some games with Discord members over the break. Indeed. If we can get around to it. Some Fortnite. Fortnite's free. Anyone can do that.
Another idea I had was doing like a battle royale stream where we play Blackout, PUBG, and Fortnite. Obviously, you know, maybe Realm Royale if you guys want. But like, I'm thinking of doing like a multi-game battle royale stream where we just probably a lot of Fortnite, but like also the others if they want stuff like that. So I want to do that as well. Again, look for info on those streams on our Twitter and our Discord as well. Make sure to follow that.
What's your Twitter while we're wrapping up?
It is at the KDS123. Jesus. At the KDS123, THEKDIAZ123. Follow me. Did I spell that right? I don't care. Follow me on there. Definitely, you can know all of my opinions on the Kanye West rant that he's been going on versus Drake. Don't know if you've seen that, but those have been very funny to read.
I saw he wanted to find Kojima.
What?
Did you not see that?
Wait, what?
One of the tweet recently. I know we're wrapping up, but it's probably lost on his feed right now. But he was like, "I heard Hideo Kojima is in New York. Does anyone know where to find him? I need to speak with him," or something like that.
Yo,
and
okay.
Guess who replied?
No,
Keely, and he said, "I got ya."
What, bro? Wait, this is actually. Wait, that's. I'm sorry, I'm freaking out, but you may plug your Twitter and stuff like that. I'm gonna find this tweet because that is hilarious.
If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can follow me at Chris N. Buckley. Like I mentioned, I recently did a paper for a class. I turned into a video all about the psychology of Spider-Man in Spider-Man Blue. You can find that on YouTube.com/joyclicks. Did a little Marvel there. Probably covering more Marvel and Nintendo stuff over there with a few buddies. In the coming months, Marvel Podcasts is being worked on currently. That's a little tease for the new year.
Interesting. Okay.
But you find that tweet?
I did. Heard Hideo Kojima is in New York. We need to meet. Does anyone know where he is or how to contact him? So Jeff Keighley replied, says, "I got ya." I can't believe I missed that. That is wow.
Kind of in Death Stranding.
I would cry. I would forcibly cry. I would actually break down, honestly. Wow. If Kanye pops up in Death Stranding, bro, game of the year. Game of the year.
So, last thing I have to say for the close of PlayStation Source of 2018. Look forward to 2019. First podcast back will most likely be our most anticipated games of 2019. I've already got mine listed out, getting ahead of it. Anthem is nowhere to be found on that list.
I think that's a lie. I think Anthem is your number one. You're trolling the whole. I get it. You know, you hold on to this little shtick that you hate Anthem. It's cute. It's cute and all, but we all know the truth. You know what I'm saying? That's all good.
We'll find out in January.
And oh wait, before we go, I know we're talking a lot. However, you have to do the podcast within the podcast. I can't find the actual note I have. But,
the 1 week out of this entire year that something major has changed.
Something major. Oh my god, where's the list? I can't find it. Jesus. Well, there's been a shake. Oh, I found it. Okay. In the February 22nd, 2019 Game Watch, there's been a huge development, and that is, I forgot. I need you to say it, Christian. I believe Metro got moved up a week. Is that what?
It is now coming out on February 15th.
Interesting. So
alongside Far Cry New Dawn, Crackdown 3, Shonen's Jump Force, which is the Goku versus Naruto game.
February 15th, sir? So you said?
Uh-huh.
So should we make a new list now?
Yeah, February 15th is the new hotness for that month.
Yeah, this is kind of crazy. I think like February 22nd.
Anthem owns February 22nd for now, because potentially, if that game gets delayed, February 22nd will have gone from the highest, craziest day for game releases to nothing.
Which is there's great. There's still Trials Rising on the 22nd. Yeah. All right.
Guess I'm picking up a game on the 22nd.
All right. Okay. Trials Rising is on this. Okay. And Dreams is rumored
like making fun of Trials, man. I'm excited for Trials.
No, I know I'm not. No. And Dreams is rumored to be there, but also expect some Dreams coverage this week on the channel.
Isn't there something happening tonight?
There is something happening tonight/tomorrow that I will cover because I'm just intrigued. Because if they actually drop this beta like tonight or something like that, that'd be crazy. Okay, well, can you run through the February 15th games one more time for the boy, and then we'll leave?
So I believe right now it is Far Cry New Dawn.
That's what.
Crackdown 3. The anime weeb fighting game that Christian is gonna buy. Jump Force.
Oh, Jump Force comes out then?
Yeah, 15th.
Oh, snap. Why I think that was like an April game. Okay, interesting. Okay, so we got Jump Force, Crackdown 3, Far Cry New Dawn, Metro. That's already, yeah, February 15th over to 22nd. Damn, because Days Gone got moved. Metro got moved.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it just can be Anthem and Trials and probably Dream. I mean, rumored to be Dreams, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't know.
So, I think that does it for 2018. Thank you so much for sticking with us throughout 2018, through E3, through everything on PlayStation Source. Hope you enjoy the holiday season, if you celebrate it or not. Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Merry Kwanzaa, whatever holidays you choose to celebrate. Or if you just want to hang out with your family and chill in the winter season. Hope you have a good time, play some good games, because I certainly will be. So thank you all again. If you want to keep up with us, follow Discord. Kevin, you can take us out.
Yep. Links will be in the description. Make sure to follow us on Discord for all the good stuff where you can follow us on there, and also be up to date on what we are doing in terms of streams and all that good stuff. I really do want to do a lot of streams here on Discord and kind of have you guys in the chat and interact and stuff like that, especially on stream as well. So definitely want that to be a thing that is more often happening on the channel, all the good stuff. And thank you all for the support. 2018 was a good year for PlayStation Source. It was our first year as PlayStation Source. Very, very good stuff right there. So thank you all for sticking through the year and stuff like that. Really vibing with us, all that good stuff. A lot of great things happened this year with Source. A lot of good fun moments I had, like those first night streams of games that came out with Spider-Man was a really fun one. Red Dead was fun as well. You know what I'm saying? Like there's just been a lot of like great moments with Source overall this year. So definitely do appreciate all of you supporting the channel and all that good stuff as well, whether you watch live or on video on demand after it gets uploaded. Definitely appreciate all your support and all that good stuff. So thank you all for watching. And as always, greatness awaits.
Happy holidays.